Well, I hope you got out there and enjoyed the nice weather, especially Friday, as well as Saturday, because I was out in the pines for a bit. It's nice. We did have some scattered cirrus around yesterday, some jet junk earlier on, and then it kind of cleared out, and then we also had some scattered cirrus around on Friday as well earlier on, but it seemed like it got better as the day went on. So today the sky was not so nice. Definitely saw more in the way of that haze. You can see a little bit of it there showing up on the satellite. Also, some of this jet junk and cirrus just coming in from the this belt of cirrus, but you can definitely see the air not quite as nice as it was yesterday, for sure. And if we go to the MODIS satellite, we'll go over what we have going on out there. So this is today's, and you can see that haze, and jet junk too around as well. Now we go to yesterday's. We did have some scattered cirrus around. You can see very widely scattered. It was a little, not really. I mean, this doesn't show the early part of the day. We did have some of it around in the early part of the day. And then if we go to Friday, Friday was very nice. So, and again, we had just a little bit of it in the morning. You could see a little bit of it, but then that, for some reason, there were a lot of cumulus buildup in Jersey that day. But you could see again the smoke was pushed away, and we had really good air quality, generally speaking. Um, so, but today it seemed like definitely declining a little bit for sure. Um, and we'll go to the larger satellite view. And you can clearly see the circulation around that high pressure as well. So you can see here again. Um, you can see that smoke trying to come back in. There's a whole lot of smoke, it looks like, coming down over the Dakotas right now. Um, and they've had some pretty big fires in California, too, as well. We'll have to go over all these various areas where these fires are going, because it could wind up affecting us with the smoke eventually. So you can see that we've got, yeah, a lot of smoke pouring down here. Looks like down to the Midwest from Canada now, so that seems to be the main target of it. Then if you look at the West Coast, you can see some smoke out there, too, as well. They've had some pretty big fires over there, too, if you look over at California here. So I'm not going to show every little area here, but you get the general idea of things. If we're looking at our weather map, you'll see here that have those high pressure and control keeping us dry. Low pressure over the southeast kind of stuck there. They've had some heavy rain in Florida. And looking around at what's going on out there right now, it's still fairly comfortable out there. If you're Islip 73, but unfortunately here in Mineola, it's a lot warmer. The alley's close to 80. Not even going to show you. And it was pretty warm actually. Got up to 88. It's showing at Islip today, so it was a pretty warm day. But the humidity was low, so it didn't feel all that bad. And you can see here, dew points generally were in the upper 50s, low 60s. Surprised it got that warm. Wow. But yeah, the dew points weren't that high. South winds. And we'll go over yesterday too as well. You can see here yesterday. Yesterday we got into the low 80s. Yesterday was very comfortable. So yesterday and Friday were really in a good air mass. Highs were only in the low 80s. The dew points were very low, only in the 40s. East winds, generally light east winds. So really nice. But now the winds are becoming more south to southwesterly, which is going to change things, obviously. At West Hampton, let's see what they're at. They're also at 72. So they did get down to 54 this morning. If they hit 86, and you'll see that yesterday, very comfortable. And let's see what they got down to last morning. I'm kind of curious. So, yeah, it got down to 46 on Saturday morning at West Hampton. So that's nice radiational cooling right there. And then Friday morning it got down to 47. So very nice over there. Very nice radiational cooling. Everyone else got into the 50s, generally speaking. I mean, Islip got down to, what did they get down to this morning? More like last morning. What did they get down to last morning? 9. They got down to 56. Yeah, so, yeah, nice and comfortable. Of course, here, unfortunately, I have to keep the AC on. You know the deal already. I'm sure they had some pretty good radiational cooling Actually, they're getting some pretty good radiational cooling right now. It's down to 64, and they got down to 50 at Ocean County Airport. Um, so yeah, they got down to 50, so that's pretty cool. Let's see what they got down to Saturday morning. I'm kind of curious. Just kind of curious. 50 it looks like. So not quite as cold as West Hampton. Still pretty interesting. Actually, there's a little cooler there. They got up to 86. So we'll put the highs on the map here, and you'll see highs generally in the mid to upper 80s across much of Long Island. Cooler on the South Shore where there was a sea breeze, and of course did hit 91 at LaGuardia, 89, 85 at JFK, 89 at Central Park, and as you go into Jersey, not that much hotter there, upper 80s to around 90, but we're going to start seeing things. Look at Newark might have gotten up to 90, but we're going to start seeing things change, obviously. There's an air quality alert in effect already, so we already have that. Ice slip, here's your climatological data. They're saying 87, but a degree above normal for the day, 5 degrees above normal for the high. Only 0.04 inches of rain for the month, so we're being kind of dry here. We're starting to enter a drought type of situation here. Let's look at what Newark got up to today. Newark got up to 91. Yeah, much hotter there. 5 degrees above normal for the high. And absolutely, month to date, just a trace of rain. So most sites have just seen a trace of rain. Very little in the way of rainfall. Yeah. And we can go to the Central Park as well. Central Park got up to 90. Oh, so it hit 90 today at Central Park. So day one of the heat wave starts at Central Park. High of 60 and a low of 69. So, yeah, 6 degrees above normal for the day. So, the heat wave is going to start. We've got the air quality alert in effect. That's going to be now for Long Island for tomorrow. Here's the one 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. tomorrow for Nassau, Suffolk, Orange, and Putnam in addition to the city. So, and we're going to see, they're saying it's ozone. But we'll have to see if there's some smoke in there too as well. So let's go to the current AQI. And it's green right now. So air quality not so bad today. A little more of that haze, but I think it's mostly at the upper levels. But what is going to be changing is, and we'll just put the lows here as well on the screen. So lows generally not as cold as it was. So it's a sign that this air mass is starting to change already. And if we pull this out, I'm just going to show you the heat here. You can see it's been hot even in New England, up hot highs in getting close to 90 in Maine. And the heat actually goes, I think, all the way into parts of Canada as well. And then you got to go way up there for it to get cooler. And you got all the red flag warnings out west. They had an all-time record high of 118 for August in Phoenix a couple of days ago. So, yeah, let's go and close this down and take a look at the tropics. Will be our next stop here. We do have activity. This is an area that's going to really be watching here. This is well-defined, a Cabo Verde system that is developing, and this is going to have to be watched in the longer range to see how it might affect the United States, the East Coast, and to see where that goes. So let's go first start to the models, and I'm going to show the European first. 12 is the European, and show you what's going on here as we go ahead and we look at the upper air. So you'll see here we've got that ridging developing. You see that ridge that will be with us this week. Starts to break down a little bit later on in the week, but then it just rebuilds next week. And this is the system right here. So actually I probably should go to a wider view just to show everything going on here. So this is the 12Z European. And there's that ridge that you see right there. And it kind of breaks down a little bit and then it rebuilds. And you can see because we have a ridge and we don't have a trough, this tropical system here probably will be a pretty strong hurricane at this point, will threaten the East Coast. at this point. And so that is a concern right there, that we might have that develop and threaten the East Coast. If we looked at yesterday's European, it was a little bit different, a little further away. So it's a little bit of a more troubling trend here, that we see it kind of coming a little closer. And that is a concern, obviously. This is a long ways out, but this is a storm that will have to be watched for sure. If we go to the GFS, the GFS is now more like the European in keeping it away. So there are subtle differences, and that's going to affect how this storm develops. You can clearly see it shown on the GFS. Let's go to the 12Z GFS, which I should be using. It keeps it pretty far away. So GFS and the Euro obviously far apart in the long range with this system. But look at that. It looks like a GFS kind of has another system there as well. So this is going to have to be watched, obviously. Ways out. We could also do the AI European as well. See what it does. The AI is a little more disturbing. That's the AI version. That's the 18Z AI. Which goes a little further out. So the AI is much further to the west. So this is all going to have to be watched. This is such a long ways out. Very hard to forecast anything that far out. But it will have to be watched closely, for sure. That storm will become a major hurricane. I'm pretty sure of it. The conditions are pretty favorable for that. Let's go and we can look at some of these sea surface temperature anomalies here. Let's go to the earthnullschool.net. No, that's not it. It's up here somewhere. Where is it? I know it's in here. Oh, there it is. It's right here. It's right before my eyes. I'm sorry. This is what happens when you walk back 15. This neighborhood is already hot tonight, and I got a whole week deal with the heat. It was nice on the South Shore, but here it's just hot. So you can see the sea surface temperature anomalies, and it's pretty above normal the whole way through. So there's plenty of support for this. So let's go back to this, and we will take a look at our surface weather, and also just the jet stream, so we can kind of show the differences in how this all plays out here. So this is the jet stream here. We're looking at the regular Euro here, so let's show you what's going to happen here. So you can see there's a big ridge, and that low is not going to get kicked out. Well, there's a trough there, right? But if we go to the GFS, there's a little more of a trough that kicks it out. So that's what has to be watched. But you can see the jet stream still kind of sort of disorganized looking and stuff. So taking it off to the surface now. And go to the European first. So obviously with the ridge building, we're going to have more heat, but the precipitation pretty much stays off to the southeast, and unfortunately looking kind of dry. Our next chance of precipitation would be Wednesday, perhaps Thursday, only scattered, maybe some thunderstorms that day, perhaps. And then we have another high pressure trying to build in the backdoor way a little bit, because that seems to be the only way they build in now. You notice that. This is the 18Z run. I want the 12Z run. And you see here that there's the high right there. And so this is, again, your tropical system coming real close. That would be a really powerful tropical system right there. Hurricane for sure. Tropical storm coming in there. And that could help flip things off to a wetter pattern if we do get that. Sure, it's been very dry. So anyway, that's what this is showing. This is what the European is showing right now. And GFS obviously keeps it away now. So it's dry. We look at the temperature anomaly chart, and you'll see here that we're going to be dealing with above normal temperatures pretty much in the east. well above normal, particularly in Maine and southeast Canada, which is not good. This is an area here we have to watch out and see if wildfires break out in this particular part of Canada now, because there's been a lot of heat in that part of Canada now. And we stay above normal. It cools down a little bit, but not just for it really doesn't. We stay consistently above normal, and still some very hot weather going into August here. So, and we all know the heat. These models, I mean, already underestimated the heat already. With dry ground, I think 90s are going to be a good bet, even on Long Island this week. Unfortunately, you got to be on the South Shore if you want cooler conditions. So, that said, we're going to take a little more look at the shorter range now, and we'll start with the HRRR. Obviously, nothing going on in terms of precipitation right through the end of the forecast period. We'll look at the dew points and wind flow. The dew points aren't that high right now. And they still won't be that high tomorrow. It's showing dew points generally in the 50s, and starting with a light west wind, which could actually heat things up. But the dew points aren't that high. That's the saving grace of the heat. A little more of a dry heat this time. It looks like Tuesday we start to get into a little more humidity, but you notice again we're starting with that west wind. The sea breeze doesn't kick in until later, and then the dew points started rising later Tuesday. But that's enough, I think, to get most of Long Island up above 90 tomorrow. So tonight we'll probably see lows in the 60s for the last time. And then tomorrow, I think we're going to heat up close to 90 on Long Island, inland especially. South Shore can avoid it, but this I think we'll see in probably 90s in New Jersey. Not cooling off as much tomorrow night. Still showing 60s. I don't know if I'm buying that. Maybe upper 60s, but just see with that the alley, it could cool off. And then Tuesday, it's showing cooler temperatures for Tuesday, interestingly enough. Not sure if I'm buying this, again, because we underestimated how hot it was going to be today. So I still think Tuesday won't be that much hotter than Monday will be. So it's not showing anything crazy on this model. But I do want to look at a few more models. Let's look at the GFS. GFS also, let's go ahead and look at that and see if the GFS is any hotter with these temperatures. And then if we want to go further, you can see it doesn't really cool off that much. Here's the GFS, keeping us pretty hot through the week. All right, we'll go to the European, which again underdoing these temperatures. It's going to be warmer than this, I think. But inland still will be the worst of it. But I still think if you're inland, you're going to see 90 most of these days. This is the European. Friday, not really much of a cool off even on Friday. Saturday maybe a little bit more of a cool off, but not much. Now the dew points, and we have that west wind to start, so that's why I think we're going to heat up. Definitely more of an increase in the humidity on Tuesday, and then Wednesday you're definitely going to be dealing with more humidity, and as we get into more of that humid air, we'll see dew points again 70s. You can see there's a boundary here. On Thursday it's going to come down, and then it's going to kind of stall out, so it's not going to really move through completely, and so we're not really going to get rid of the humidity too much on Friday, mainly off to the north. This is what the European is showing. Is the 12Z run of the European. A little more aggressive, the 12Z, with the dry air trying to come in, but other than that, it's not really showing too much in the way of relief from the humidity. And then we have the tropical system, obviously, making its close pass here on the European here. Now we can go ahead and we can look at the wind gusts here. Let's do the winds. Where's the wind? Yeah, that looks like a pretty powerful storm right there. It's a close call, man. If it were to take that track. But this is a ways away. This is over 10 days away. So a lot can change between now and then. But still, even if it weren't going to directly hit us, we would see coastal impacts for sure. I mean, beach erosion. You can look at the wave height. Look at these waves that we're going to see from this thing. So yeah, this definitely could be very impactful. Now go to the AI if you want to really be scared, because it takes it right up the East Coast. in a somewhat weakened form. This would be similar to Isaias type of storm here on this particular track here. But it would still give us. I don't think we do get the wind product. We do get the wind product here. Again, this all has to be. This is way, way in the future here. The icon. I don't even think the icon goes out that far. No, it's not going to go out that far. I don't think it does. Let's see if it does. No, I don't see it going out that far at all. Okay, so and again, going back to the regular European here, just to the next chance of precipitation that we would have, obviously, which we need badly, won't really be until later Wednesday into Thursday. It's not, again, Thursday in particular could be active, and that could see, let's see how much precipitation this thing is trying to put out here. Not a whole lot, particularly Suffolk County, a little more if you're more inland, but this is a bit of a concern. We have to start pulling up the drought monitor again, because we're going to have to see how this all sets up. So let's go and look at the skies, I guess. Next we'll go to the RGEM, and we'll talk about cloud cover and smoke and all that other stuff. So today we saw a lot of jet junk in the sky. You can sort of see it doesn't really show up too well on this model. Tomorrow we might see some of that too, as well as some haze from wildfire smoke perhaps, but there'll still be plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Tuesday, same deal, plenty of sunshine. It's when we get into Wednesday, I think we'll start seeing more clouds into the picture as the humidity increases. It's as far out as I got on that, and then we have the GFS. You see there's that. And you see what happens on the GFS. It tries to get that front through. GFS does try to get that front through. It's the GFS, if you look at this. Yeah, it gets that front through more than the European. So we're going to have to watch that late week front. And I'll have to be back here probably Wednesday or Thursday. We'll talk about that. But we'll have to watch this because we have differences in the models, the model forecasts here. Go to the European. You can see it's a lot different in it. We keep the cloud cover around. Here's Friday, probably with that stalled front set. It has those lines pretty far apart, but the other thing I'm going to point out here as well, get to the HRRR for tomorrow. This is one way to look and see how much jet junk there's going to be. These lines are a little close. They're not touching, but they're a little close. Tomorrow and Tuesday. They're a little close. So I'll have to be watched. Looks like they're touching down on the surface, though, which is kind of interesting. So maybe some Q. But anyway, gone over the cloud cover. Let's go over the smoke. So I'll do the vertically integrated smoke. This is the 18 ZH run. You can see there's some light smoke in the area. It's nothing too dense, but it's definitely a little noticeable, but not dramatically. So it doesn't look like we're going to be dealing with any major smoke issues. That's mainly going to be Dakotas and maybe Minnesota into Wisconsin. They're going to be dealing with some smoke. Near surface smoke, very little, just a little bit. I think the main issue is going to be ozone. That's what's going to be impacting the air quality because of the heat. So that's pretty much what we've gotten. Again, that's the smoke's mainly out in the. Not curious about the Dakotas, and I'm sure it's mainly out over here. That's where they're dealing with it. Just pick a site, Bismarck. Let's see what we've got. If they've got smoke being reported there. Oh yeah, haze. Oh, they had really bad smoke there today. So they are dealing with some pretty bad air quality over there. If we go to the AQI map, which we'll go to again, you'll see our area is doing fine right now. Surface air quality, again, we'll have ozone more, but you can see it's a little worse as you head inland a little bit. But the worst of it is going to be in, again, Dakotas. This area here is going to be pretty bad if it would load. Yeah, look at this. Oh, boy, that's really bad. That's really, really bad over there. So that's where the worst of it is, but I think it's going to stay there for the most part. So let's go to the Climate Prediction Center and look at our 6 to 10 day outlook. And it does have a great chance of above normal temperatures in the Midwest. That's where the core of the heat seems to be, below normal in the West, on the West Coast, and precipitation near normal. So at least it's not showing below normal precipitation. So maybe there will be, maybe they're a little more hopeful. We'll see some precipitation Wednesday or Thursday. We really need to, because it's very dry out there. It's dried out. It dries out quick, and when it's drier, it gets even hotter. 8 to 14 days still generally has above normal temperatures across much of the country, near normal precipitation. So the last stop we're going to make here is something I do once in a while, and that is the ice, extensive Greenland ice sheet melting in mid-July. So unfortunately, there's been a lot of melting in Greenland, but there are data gaps from this because of the we know why that's happening. But you'll see here a lot of surface melt in Greenland. So this is not good at all. There's been a lot. It's not really slowing down much at all. This is not good at all. And then we'll go to the sea ice today map here. Yeah, this is looking pretty bad as well. This is your pretty much at the bottom, 2025 pretty much, though it seems like we've gone a little bit above what 2012 has now. So I'll have to see if we're seeing any kind of recovery here. Arctic sea ice extent tracked at near record low levels for much of June, hitting daily low levels from June 20th to 26th on Arctic sea ice. There has been uncoverable gaps in data sea ice from the defense because of the since the data feed will end July 31st, the team will be switching to the Japan satellite because we have to use Japan satellite because the satellite that tracks sea ice, our dictator in chief has decided to get rid of it. You know how I feel about that. So you know how I feel. I don't need to go over it again. You know how I feel. Obviously, you know how I feel. So this is what it looks like showing gap here, but still, this does not look good at all. So a lot of missing sea ice here. This could keep going down. You only have thick. This blue here is thin sea ice. So the only thick sea ice is right over here. So we won't have a blue ocean event this year, but every year we get closer and closer. And I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see that happen. Especially with a little help from the United States federal government, helping that all along with their ignorant, dumb, greedy. Well, don't get me started. Well, anyway, I better shut up now. So, thank you for watching. Good night.